Welcome to Find Myself Free, the podcast, where we break up with booze, balance our hormones, and heal from the inside out. I'm Ellie Young, certified alcohol-free life coach and functional nutrition practitioner in training. And I'm here to help you break free from the drinking cycle and unlock your best health. After decades of gray area drinking, I was fascinated by my own capacity for change. Now I've made it my mission to pay this gift forward by sharing the biggest game-changing lessons from neuroscience to positive psychology to functional nutrition, all so you can take back your power, balance your hormones, use food as medicine, and feel better than ever. Sobriety is just the beginning. Let's heal, thrive, and create a life you love. Let's dive in. I want to tell you something that could completely shift how you approach taking a break from alcohol. It's called Stop Drinking with Cycle Syncing, and it's the first program of its kind that helps you reduce or quit drinking by working with your hormonal cycle, not against it. Most programs completely ignore this, but your cycle impacts everything: your motivation, your energy levels, your sleep, your cravings. And here's the part no one's talking about. There are actually two specific phases in your cycle when you're more vulnerable to reaching for a drink. Not because you're weak, but because your brain and body are wired differently during those times. This program gives you the roadmap to understand why you feel the way you do and how to support yourself with compassion instead of shame and blame. So you're going to get phase-based nutrition guides and meal plans, grocery lists tailored to your cycle, and all of the content are bite-sized audio lessons so you can listen while you're walking, driving, folding laundry, because I know you're busy. You can start at any time and move at your own pace, and it's all designed to help you feel better faster by syncing your habits with your hormones. So if you're sober curious, looking to cut back, or just want to understand your body on a deeper level, this is a game changer. Head over to findmyselffree.com to learn more and join Stop Drinking with Cycle Syncing today. All right, let's get into the show. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Find Myself Free. Summer is almost here, and I know I'm really looking forward to it. I know the hustle and bustle is like at an all-time high right now. I can't even count how many different events I have going on in these next 2 weeks. My fifth grader's graduating and my eighth grader's graduating, and there's like multiple events for both of those, right? So as much as I'm looking forward to like the slowdown of summer, and I know we all look forward to this kind of like blissful moment where we're like, oh, we don't have school, we have less sports, but somehow instead you end up with less time for yourself, right? We all know this as moms. Like it really ultimately just means that you have less time for yourself, and your kids are kind of still doing a lot of different things that require you now to like drop what you're doing and like help them out, right? So maybe you get to sleep in a little more, maybe you get to travel, but suddenly your workouts get really complicated fitting it in, right? The kitchen's open all day, kids are everywhere. And let's not even get started on the summer socializing and drinking culture. You know, I'm an alcohol-free life coach, so I know this is a big hurdle for a lot of you. I used to get so stressed in the summer times, or actually just in general as a mom, anytime I couldn't stick to my routines perfectly. I didn't w if I didn't work out how I wanted or eat how I planned or fit in my work blocks when I'm trying to work, I'd feel really frustrated. I'd feel guilty, and honestly, like I was failing, right? I'm still undoing that mindset, and today I wanna talk to you about softening that routine for summer without throwing it all out the window, okay? Because it often feels like self-sabotage that we set ourselves up with these expectations, we wanna do these things. If you're like me, you know, I'm an overachiever. I am always trying to do a lot of things, and I'm learning. I'm definitely learning right now what I need to be dialing back on, and that's why I'm doing this episode, because I teach best what I need to learn the most so that I can like go about these things with less guilt. And we can also skip over this idea that vacation means um, it's vacation, anything goes. Like, I used to be like, okay, so I can't work out, I can't do these things, might as well just throw the baby out with the bathwater and just, eat whatever I want, do whatever I want. And obviously that leaves us feeling worse, not better, right? So we're going to go over the four biggest summer struggles. And again, these are my biggest struggles. And again, if you're like me, I have friends that are like, oh, I can't wait for summer. We're just going to have lazy mornings and lazy days, and less routine, less. I don't live like that. And so maybe this episode's not for you because maybe you're just like, I love to just do nothing all summer and not have stuff. I'm not that way. I am built for structure, routine. That's how I thrive. And so I am learning how much my attachment to these routines and these things is creating more stress in my life. And so that I need to actually be able to kind of soften this and let it go a little more, but still feel like I'm taking care of myself, because it's like a double-edged sword. It's like, I'm stressing myself out because I want to do all these things still, but if I let it go too much, then I'm stressed and I'm annoyed with myself that I'm not doing enough. So it's threading the needle here. So I'm going to go over what I'm kind of dealing with myself, and maybe it'll resonate with you. But let's dive in. So the main things that I'm struggling with are workouts. When am I going to work out? Sleep schedules, right? Because kids want to stay up later and I'm a sleepyhead. We have to meet in the middle somewhere. At food for yourself and feeding your kids, and summer drinking and socializing, right? How do we get through all that? So, part one, exercise, letting go of perfection. I used to have such a tight grip on how I worked out. I have improved so much in this department. My family, my husband will tell you, if he had a chance to tell you here, if I wasn't able to go to one of my classes, this was pre-COVID. I would go to a soul cycle class. I would go to a hot yoga class. If I couldn't stick to my routine and go at the times that I wanted, I felt like it didn't count. Like, I felt like if I had to work out at home and my kids interrupted me 100 times, because I would still, and then I would be super resentful. I would resent my husband for, blaming him that maybe I couldn't have gone at the time I wanted, the tag team with the kids. Like, okay, it's your turn to watch them so I can do my workout. And if that didn't work out, I would resent him, or I'd just be super annoyed with my kids. And I would build up stress while I was working out. Like, why can't they just leave me alone? Why can't I be? And then I'd feel guilty. Like, why am I barking at my kids when they're, you know, coming in, doing, saying hi to me and want to give me a hug while I'm like in a push up or holding a plank? So I struggled with this a lot. And if you're like me, like if I didn't get my workout in, I'd be like bitter all day and also feel guilty, like, oh, I can't eat now because I didn't work out enough. I can't eat bad. Now I got a diet. And it's just, it's just so unhealthy. I just creating so much turmoil and so much stress for myself. And I'm still undoing this. I'm still learning how to let go of when my things don't go as planned. But the summer is the perfect time to practice this. And I am coaching myself here as much as anybody else that summer demands flexibility. So now I am moving my body however I can. And often that just means trying to find the joy in it and trying to be flexible, while still maintaining some boundaries around things with my kids and my husband, and just being like, hey, I need this, scheduling it ahead of time, or, going out of the house to work out is always better because then you can't really get interrupted. But if you are home, which I am home a lot, I'm the queen of at-home workouts. Setting some boundaries there, just being like, I'm going to be unavailable for 45 minutes. My kids aren't little, so I can do this now. It was a lot harder when they were little and they just were like toddling in, and it was adorable, but also incredibly frustrating, right? So now, also like this weekend, my kids were all going in different directions, um, and it was like, I wanted to work out, but instead I was like, all right, let's go to the beach. I'll take you to the beach. You can do your thing. You can run around. You can play. And I will bring a weight and I will do my squats and look like the crazy lady at the beach who's working out, and might make my whole family cringe and be embarrassed about me because I'm just like this 44-year-old mom trying to get her pump on at the beach. And I have no shame. I will do jumping jacks. I will do squats. I will do lunges. And I am not like a beach bod, guys. I'm not like this like super hot piece, working out down there, but people stare at me because I do stand out. I'm definitely, not uh the normal person down there. Um, but honestly, I'm getting my vitamin D, I'm getting a great tan, and I'm getting my squats in. I consider that a win. And then I go play with my kids. I go swimming. It's a lot more fun to jump in the ocean. It's still really cold. Cold plunge after you get all sweaty and hot working out. I do a little soft sand jogging with them. I'll like play soccer with them um and my body actually feels really good right now. There was a couple years ago, I had not a couple years ago, I actually just got over this plantar fasciitis. I suffered from plantar fasciitis for like 2 years and I could not be barefoot, like, running on the beach. It killed my feet, and so not being able to play with my kids during that time frame sucked. I would try, and then I wouldn't be able to, like, walk for the next day. Like, it just sucks. So I finally, like, got over plantar fasciitis in both my feet that I had for about 2 years, and now I love playing with them on the beach. So that is how I'm letting go of my, like, perfection in exercise. I try to take walks. I try to squeeze it in when I can and not have such a strong attachment to it that it's going to create all this stress if I don't get it in. Because I'm just recognizing how unhealthy the amount of pressure and stress I put on myself is. So this was a big one for me. And the truth is, movement is movement. Just move your body, do what brings you joy. Let go of the if it's not perfect, it doesn't count mindset. I know this was a big one for me. Include your kids, make it fun. Joyful movement is still movement, and it's exactly what your nervous system, my nervous system needs this summer. All right, part 2, sleep. How do we shift it for the later summer nights without sacrificing it, right? Because we know just how important sleep is in perimenopause for our overall health, for our stress levels, for our cortisol, for our blood sugar management. It's so critical. It's for our mental health. It's so critical. And I love to go to bed early, mostly because I've always been an early riser. I love to go to 6 a.m. yoga. I used to run early in the morning. I walk my dog really early in the morning. But during the summer, the kids are staying up later. And honestly, I do want to stay up with them. Okay. I want to enjoy these summer nights with them while they still want to hang out with me. Right. So this summer, I am shifting. And as I even say this, I'm getting a little uncomfortable because I'm really attached to my 6 a.m. yoga, my favorite instructor. She's amazing. But I'm going to be flexible and I'm going to move it to 9:30 after they head out to camp. So I'll get to stay up a little later, sleep in a little bit more, and I'm curious to see how this actually impacts my cortisol because I here's the moment of truth for me. Like, I have always prided myself on being an early riser, but I'm starting to question that. Like, am I doing that because it's truly best for me or because I've been wired to keep on pushing? And most of you know I've been going through a Hashimoto's like diagnosis and trying to understand that. And stress is a huge component. And I suspect that part of my problem, I don't suspect, I know, is that I don't actually know how to relax. Me relaxing is like busybodying around the house. It is like I have to be accomplishing things, I have to be moving. So I am really, really trying like to unlock this side of myself that lets go and can finally relax. Um, and so this summer I'm practicing my relaxation. And I'll be honest, it's really uncomfortable for me, but I'm leaning in. And the takeaway here is challenge your assumptions about what good routines need to look like in different seasons. I'm embracing this idea of seasons. Like I can do this for the summer. I can relax a little bit more in the summer, sleep in a little bit more, shift my workouts. I don't have to be maximizing my schedule all the time. And it's not about giving up discipline. It's about adapting to serve your health, not your ego. Okay. This is something that I'm like literally unlocking as I speak to you because I just know part of my drive is to always be doing the most. I did that podcast last week on doing the most for my health. And for me, it's like, ooh, you got to get up early. You got to be getting more done. You got to be journaling and meditating and going to 6 a.m. yoga. And I'm like, how much of that stuff although it sounds healthy in paper, like was actually just kind of adding to my stress levels. Um, and so I'm really trying to like soften my approach to most of these things and do it in a way where I'm not just faking it too. Like, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm going to not go to my workout today, but like deep down, I'm like resenting it and I'm stressing out. Like, I really am really trying to like truly let go of some of this stuff. And that leads me to the next one, part 3, food. Planning ahead to avoid the chaos. So, summer food. Okay. The kitchen is basically open 24/7 in my house. And not just for my kids, but half of the neighborhood, right? There are boys coming in and out of my place. And the mess alone makes me want to scream. And the endless requests for money so they can go eat out it's as a functional nutrition practitioner, it absolutely kills me, right? But here's my strategy. I am going to meal prep simple staples. All right. Slow cooker meats, beans, rice, so that the kids can assemble bowls on their own after their camps. So my kids are not like doing nothing all summer. I don't operate that way, and the kids don't operate that way. They need structure, they need something to do. So, one, they're off screens. We're all battling screens. And two, so that they're worn out, so they actually aren't bored and they actually have stuff to do. So they are going to Junior Guards, which is a beach camp here in town where they actually like go to the beach for 3 hours and they learn like water safety. They learn how to be in the ocean safely. It's a rite of passage here at the beach. And it works them out. And but it starts early. It starts at like 8:30 in the morning, and they're home by 11:30. So it's pretty short day, but at least they've gotten out of the house and they've exercised. And usually they want to go out to eat and spend like, lunches are going crazy. They around here it's like $25 for like lunch. And I'm like, I can't afford that with 2 kids, both going out to lunch, $50 a day. Um, and then they come home and they want to eat again at like 2. So I'm just one, they're eating crap, and two, they're just coming home and they're wanting to eat again. And I have to have some sort of reduction of cost and junk food. And so that is my strategy is I'm going to be busting out my slow cooker. And I'm going to be keeping them fed, minimizing the junk food, and keep me from feeling like I'm failing nutritionally for them. So, and honestly, every time I pull out my slow cooker, I'm like, why don't I use this more? This was so easy. I literally put a bunch of chicken thighs in there. I use my favorite spices, my polysplice blends that adds a lot of variety for their gut health. So I have to have these small wins nutritionally where I'm like, ooh, I got 17 different spices on the chicken they're eating right now. Um, and I make a bunch of rice and I make a bunch of beans, and I think I'm going to be not so eco-friendly, and I'm going to get like paper bowls, like disposable bowls, so I can just like not have a bajillion dishes and just leave that here on the stove. So if they come home with a couple friends and they all want to eat that, they're good to go. And then I don't have a giant mess in my house. Honestly, I'm getting ants, summertime ants. Okay, because my kids are freaking leaving food all over the place. Like, part of being a functional nutrition practitioner and the stress you put on yourself about feeding your kids good food all the time, feeding your family, is I'm constantly cooking and I'm constantly cleaning. And I am not an organized, like, perfect meal prepping person. It's kinda sloppy, it's messy, there's leftovers in the fridge all the time, they need to be cleaned out. Like, I just haven't got it down to, like, this really pretty rhythm or science that's like it's a shit show, and it's very cycle dependent for me, like, hormonal. Like, there's weeks where I'm really motivated to cook and do things great, and the weeks where I'm not, and I'm like, "Oh, I have to cook again," and I'm so frustrated with dishes, and my dishwasher has actually been on like, semi-broken for about 6 months, and we finally got it fixed, and I have a proper working dishwasher now, which I'm so happy about. But the takeaway here, pick your battles. Set your family up for success by prepping a few simple, nourishing basics. Less stress, less mess, healthier kids, happier mom. These are things that really stress me out in the summer. Like the food, I'm like, okay, I really got to get this one down and organized, and I'll be a happier person. Okay, last but not least, here's something that I know is coming up a lot for you guys is the summer drinking and the socializing. Here's how I'm going to help you rethink the triggers. So, summer and alcohol are so intertwined. Beaches, barbecues, lakes, vacations. It's like booze is just part of the scenery. But here's my challenge to you. Decide ahead of time how you want to feel this summer. Connect with that future self who has made it through this summer alcohol-free, your first alcohol-free summer. It's going to be awkward as hell, or even if you're just reducing your drinking, summer can feel really extra hard. So I'm going to give you some key things to prep to help you kind of get your head around this. So right now, while you're listening to this podcast, get on Amazon. Stock up on alcohol-free summer mocktails. There are so many amazing adaptogenic or functional drinks that actually help you de-stress without the hangover. Look for ingredients like ashwagandha, theanine, lion's mane, um, there's so many and they're delicious and they're not filled with sugar. Some of my favorite brands are Hi-Yo, Recess, Kin. Um, there's just countless. And as long as you are stocked and that can be your go-to reach, so you're not just having to drink water all summer and bubbly water, you always have to pack your own drinks if you're going to summer events. Pack your own drinks, bring a variety. It can be a conversation starter. Like, look at these cool, fun drinks. The cans are beautiful. Most of the people won't even know you're not drinking. I could talk for days about how to get prepare yourself for these events. If you want help on this kind of stuff, set up a free call for me. If you've never had coaching around this, it can literally shift your mindset. I can shift your mindset in one phone call around alcohol and how you can shift your beliefs. I can plant some seeds that will change how you think about this. All right. It's not going to be easy, but if you haven't cracked the code on just using willpower to try and not drink, this is a game changer, right? When you actually start working on your subconscious beliefs about alcohol. All right. And so let's also rethink how you socialize. Instead of defaulting to like the wine nights, plan something active with your friends. Okay. Commit right now. Be like, you know what? I'm going to rethink how I want to socialize with my friends. It doesn't have to be the same. It doesn't have to be the same time frame. It doesn't have to be the same events. It can be different. Like weekly walks with girlfriends. One of the best support systems I had when I was first alcohol free was running with my girlfriends in the morning. We would do it before school, and in the summer we would do it early too, before the kids all woke up and all the chaos started, right? You could do mid-morning coffee dates. You could do 4 p.m. happy hour walks with your mocktails. Get creative because you don't need alcohol to have fun or connect. And a side note here, honor where you are because showing up to some of these summer events and you're like, I'm going to go to the same event, I'm going to be around the same people, and I'm just not going to drink. That is a really heavy lift for your brain. Your brain is basically being cued to do this behavior repeatedly over and over and over again in that environment, and you're trying to stop it from wanting to get on that habit loop. It's like this car that is just like starting to start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. And unless you give it a new path to go on, and unless you've thought ahead and planned for it, it's going to be wildly uncomfortable and you're going to be flexing that willpower muscle and eventually it fails and you cave and you drink. And you'll have rationalized some reason for it and you'll have a million things going on. Oh, my day was hard and my kids did this and blah, 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 blah. A lot of things. Your brain is always trying to convince you to do the most familiar path, which requires the least amount of energy. So if you know a summer event is going to be wildly triggering for you, and you're like, I can't show up at that. You have to, your non-drinking muscle has to be pretty strong. Okay. Or you have to say, I'm going to go, but I'm only going to go for 30 minutes and I'm going to get out of there. And this is okay. You can flat out say no. You can do something else. You can go for a short time and then peace out. There's a lot of options here, but you don't have to continually putting yourself with like in these environments that are so incredibly triggering and then saying, I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. I'm not going to drink. And that's the focus, right? So you are not boring. You are being smart. And this phase is temporary. Okay. So protect your peace, protect your progress, and be really proactive about planning other things that you can do that aren't these environments. It's going to be new. It's going to be new things that don't center around alcohol, but you have to be proactive about it. And you have to be, you can't just be passive and sit back and be like, I'm just going to keep living my life exactly the same and just remove the alcohol and do nothing different, right? Because if nothing changes, then nothing changes. Your environments need to change. Your habits need to change. You have to think about this in advance and create these new possibilities, these new opportunities for yourself that don't revolve around alcohol. And this can be fun. This can be fun. Yes, it requires energy. Yes, it requires a little pre-planning and work, but it can be fun. You're exploring all the ways you can reconnect with yourself alcohol free. Okay. Most importantly here, be patient with yourself. You are like a new baby. You are a new alcohol free baby in this world because you drank for decades, right? So you are now learning a new skill and it's awkward. So give yourself some grace. Laugh at the weirdness of it all. Laugh at yourself. Be like, oh my God, this is uncomfortable. This is hard. Like, it's okay. We don't have to have all this shame and ridicule for ourselves because we're like, oh my God, I'm trying not to drink and it's painful. Like, yeah, joke about it. Be like, yeah, my brain has this habit. I've done this habit. And anybody around you who is still drinking and is like, oh, that's weird. It's weird that it's hard for you not to drink. Like, try that, like, challenge them. Be like, all right, try not to drink with me. Like, they will come up with a myriad of reasons of why they have a healthy relationship with alcohol and that it's not hard for them. It's like, dude, okay, then try it. Try it. Try it for 30 days. Like, they'll be like, it's just such an uncomfortable, like, conversation with people when they've never, people won't go there. People don't want to think they have an unhealthy relationship with it. But at the end of the day, you're ingesting a toxin. There is no healthy amount for you. I'm sorry. And for all those people out there who are really just trying to cut back and drink less, like, I applaud you. That's where everybody starts. Everybody starts in this place. Nobody ever starts saying, I'm never going to drink. They start saying, I just want to drink less. I just want to cut back. And I love that idea in the beginning for people, this idea that you can moderate and you can pick special occasions where you can drink and you can pick, is that then you're still in this land of constantly negotiating with yourself and that you believe there's this mindset that exists where you're going to be perfectly at peace being like, tonight I won't drink, but tomorrow when it's a special occasion, it's the 4th of July, I'm going to have a drink, but I'm not going to drink a lot. I'm just going to have 2. This notion that you can control it, and maybe some people can without any mental gymnastics, but I want to say for most people, it just doesn't work like that. It's a neurotoxin. The way it impacts your brain, it creates craving for more. It drives you to want more. It's still toxifying you. You're still going to have a hangover. I remember my favorite game when I thought I hadn't drank a lot. I would be like, I didn't drink that much last night. I feel fine today. Oh my God, I feel fine. I'm okay. I'm totally okay. And I'd always be like so impressed with myself if like I wasn't totally hungover. But what I didn't realize is just how much better I could feel. And that I was always actually pretty still hungover. I just didn't have any perspective of what it felt like to not be mildly hungover, to have actually slept good, to have actually been hydrated and like not have bad gut health and to not have my hormones all wonky. I mean, I feel so much better than I did back when I was drinking that I would be terrified of drinking now, like about how bad I could potentially feel. Ugh, no, thank you. So what I really want you to do is challenge the belief this summer that summer relaxation equals alcohol. It flat out doesn't. You get to design a summer where you feel better, not worse. You are in control. Okay? So get really curious about like, wow, like why does vacation mean drinks by a pool? Like if I really want to relax, if what I'm really trying to do is check out from my normal obligations, my normal routine and get real rest and relaxation and like magical moments with my family and presence with my family, like I want to be alcohol free. I want to be able to remember everything, to connect, to take in the beauty of these moments, to make memories, and the best way to do that is alcohol free. Okay. You think if you need to relieve your stress, look to adaptogens, look to movement, look to exploring all these different things you can do, right? Challenge your brain, boost dopamine in all these other incremental ways. This is your summer. What do you want to do with it? Right? Okay. So let's wrap it up. In review, let's soften your workout expectations. I am talking to myself here. Movement is movement. Find joy in it. build it in. If it doesn't work out, get your kids involved, have some flexibility, and don't hold yourself to this all or nothing approach, okay? Number 2, shift your sleep schedule, but without sacrificing your health. You still need the hours, right? But if you're going to stay up late, it's okay to sleep in. And if you are going to go to bed early, go ahead and wake up early. Go chase that sunrise. Go chase that sunrise. That's one of my absolute favorite things to do in the summer. Okay, number 3, simplify your food prep. Pick your battles. I'm talking to myself here again, and prep your basics. I'm going to go do it right now after this podcast. I'm going to go throw some chicken thighs in my slow cooker. I've got this awesome chili verde that I pour over the top. And then I've got some tortillas. The kids come home after school. Boom, tacos. Easy peasy. So easy, right? Throw some beans in there. Done. All right, number 4, get proactive about your socializing, your summertime socializing. Do it right now. Say, hey, girls, get on a text chain. How would you like to set up a come as you are, when you can, weekly walk? Like every Tuesday morning, we're going to meet at 7 a.m. I don't know if you want to be before the kids are up, or maybe you want to do a 9 a.m.er, but when you can meet with your girlfriends and connect in a different form, in a different way, right? Maybe it's Friday brunches, but if brunches are too triggering for alcohol with you guys, do something that is out of the drinking realm that helps you connect with your friends. If movement is involved, bonus, right? And there has to be flexibility baked in, but make it a standing date. I'm going to do it right now with my girlfriends. I'm going to do 2 standing dates. I want to do a monthly out to dinner date with my girlfriends, and then a weekly walk and talk date with my girlfriends. 2 different kinds, 2 different formats. See what you can do. See if you can stay connected to your people. All right. And if you're finally ready to take that next step, whether it's taking your first alcohol-free break, balancing your hormones. By the way, those 2 go hand in hand. When you take that break from booze, you are going to feel so much better hormonally because you're going to be sleeping. Your gut's going to improve. Oh, you guys, it's like this ripple effect. And the more I learn in my functional nutrition classes, the more I'm just like, thank God I no longer drink, because I don't know how to work on this kind of stuff if you're still pouring alcohol into your system, right? It's the first toxin that's got to go. It's got to go. You can't be working on your gut health while still drinking wine. I'm sorry. You can't be working on your hormone health and still pouring a hormone disruptor into your body, right? It's like, what are we doing here? It ain't it, right? So, lastly, if you want to start your healing journey with food, this is a big one. We don't have to be dieting. We need to be nourishing. We need to be seeing food completely differently in a way that we're like, what does my body, what nutrients do I need? Right? I have never looked at food that way until I started doing this work. I was always trying to do shortcuts and cheat codes to be like, okay, what is the least amount of calories and least amount of carbs and yada yada, a bunch of caffeine and supplements. And it's like, whoa, dude, I never thought about what my body actually needed. Right? And yes, protein's important, but it's so is getting all the phytonutrients. So is eating the rainbow. So is your probiotics, making sure you're taking care of your gut. So are the healthy fats, making sure you're getting enough omega-3s. So is carbohydrates. What kind of carbohydrates? What kind of fiber are you getting, right? Thinking about food in really simple macronutrient terms. And when I say macronutrients, I'm not about let's count your macros. I'm literally what I work on 5 targets: protein, fiber, antioxidants. That's like eating the rainbow, probiotics and prebiotics. That's also your fiber, and omega-3s, your healthy fats. If you are eating in a way where you're just building your plates around this, you're simplifying food. You're not thinking about calories. You're not thinking about carbs. You're literally just if I build a plate around taking all of the things my body actually needs to build and thrive and be healthy and using all of nature's medicine, oh my gosh, game changer. Game changer with food. And don't get me wrong, I still crave salty chips sometimes. My son, we're trying to get him off Takis. So my husband found these other spicy chips that don't have red 40 in them. Who ate half the bag? I did. Yeah. So what happens? I'm human. Okay. But I'm aspirational too. I have all these goals. I want to like keep working on this stuff. That's why I'm here. I want to keep teaching you all the things I'm learning. And if you're ready to take that first step, just remember there's never a perfect time to start. Summer is actually a beautiful time to begin, right? Book a free call with me. You will never regret it. I promise you. No one ever wishes they drank more. No one ever wishes they, didn't learn about how to balance their hormones. No one's like, oh boy, I sure didn't need to know that. You need to know this stuff. You need to know what's going on with your hormones in your 40s. You got to pay attention. It's controlling everything. And so I am here for you. Lean into the version of yourself that's ready for more. I am with you. You got this.